121-2014, discuss the EMS. Now that was one of the things that was brought up too, and it basically was discussing the response times, and that's why I've requested to be able to review some of the response times for a couple months, and then we can see where we're at. Is there any comments you want to make on it?
Well, a couple. One is that if in organized meetings and official meetings, EMS has potential to be discussed, I really would appreciate the opportunity for EMS to represent themselves, you know, to discuss the concerns or questions that are surfacing. It's really difficult for us to kind of be hit from behind with some of this information. EMS is an evolving service. It's not like it used to be 20, 30 years ago where it was mother jugs and speed, and every time you got a call from 911, you did everything to get there, and, you know, lights and sirens and killing people. We do medical priority dispatching, which if the dispatch says that someone who fell and hurt their hip, we don't run lights and sirens to those. You know, it may take us 10 to 12 minutes to get to that patient because a hip pain never killed anybody. You know, but we do our best when it comes to chest pain, strokes, unresponsive cardiac arrest. We have nothing to hide. We'd be more than happy to provide you with any statistics. We'd be happy to give a report monthly on our response times. If you have a particular call that you would like, you know, us to review, our trucks are GPS tracked. I can pull up a report on exactly where that truck was, how long it took to get there. You know, we are in the business of doing the best we can for the community. We are a nonprofit organization. We put everything we have back into our company, and you know, we try to give top-notch service. And you know, we will do whatever, you know.
And what is your name?
My name is Dan Miller.
Oh, you're the Dan Miller.
Yeah, I'm Dan Miller.
And you're with Southbridge?
Southbridge Emergency Medical Service, and we've been in business since 1971. You know, and
How long have you been in the township?
Since 12 years, since 2002, I believe, and the reason we came into the township was due to the fact that the township was so fragmented after Cecil Area EMS, which was your volunteer organization that serviced the area, could no longer keep up with the demands of staffing. And what you had for a period of time, and you can ask Cecil Police or any of the fire departments to verify this if you wish, that there was no organized approach to your EMS services here. You would have, you know, one organization, Canonsburg taking care of the south end, you'd have Peters on the Lawrence end, you'd have Fort Cherry on this end, the Miller's Run corridor kind of got lost. And I remember the good old days when I would come into Cecil Township and I'd have the police and the residents yelling at me, asking me why it took me 25 minutes to get here. And I'm like, I just got dispatched 6 minutes ago. Why are you know, that problem evolved into where we are now. And that was when your township manager back in '02 tried to organize a better system for your township. And we were the only ambulance service that would come in and say, we will put a truck in your township 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help cover and put provisions of EMS into your township. And that's how we came to be in the township back in 2002.
And how long have you been the sole EMS provider?
In 2002, we got 80% of the township, and then about 5 years later in 2000, I believe it was 7 or 8, I don't know the exact date, but we then took over the whole township.
Right, I remember that vaguely. It's my memory that this is while Kevin Canderson was a supervisor, and at that time you became the sole provider on a trial basis for 1 year. Do you recall that?
I remember that there was an evaluation, and if there were problems, that it could be reviewed, you know.
Well, that could be done at any time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it was on a trial basis, and then nothing ever happened.
Right.
I've only been a supervisor for 2.5 years, but I've had a number of complaints from people. I'm going to say maybe 5 complaints, and then I've heard of other situations where maybe it was 4 people that complained directly to me that they wanted the ambulance service that they had, and that they were unhappy with the length of time that it took for your organization to get to. And so my suggestion is that we would find a way to bring the other organizations in along with you as we have in the past. The bottom line is this: if any one of us has an emergency, we want somebody there on the spot. 5-7 minutes at the most. And that's what I'm looking for our community. And if that means 4 companies, which is, I never heard anyone complain before until it went to one company, and that's the bottom line of it.
Well, it's the first I've heard of complaints. I mean, we had an issue back down at South Point, which we addressed, and lo and behold, the issues that we had with delayed response time for calls we had to give away because we were out of trucks. So the complaint wasn't with us, it was with the company that was supposed to be next closest responding. So it would be nice to know of these complaints when they're arising and not have, I've heard 12 complaints that you're not getting there on time and a proper response. And just to say, the national average to have an effective and proficient advanced life support service is to have your BLS on scene from 4 to 6 minutes, and then your ALS service in 8 to 10 minutes.
Can you please what does that mean?
There's different levels of service. So basically what the fire departments do is QRSs, they're basic life support providers. They come in and they do CPR and give oxygen. What we are is ALS. We have the heart monitors, the IVs, the drugs. We come in and do all the advanced care. The cost of our ambulances, the cost of our personnel, and the availability of paramedics these days, you're just not going to have a paramedic unit sitting out everybody's back door and have that. That's just not, you can't afford it. We can't staff it. But nationally speaking, if I was in the city of Houston or city of Pittsburgh, and you're complicated here because you've got not the density of tax base or money being provided from you to us to be able to do any better than what's expected nationally, and that is to get BLS units, which includes the police department because they have training and they have oxygen, to be there in 4 to 6 minutes on a critical emergency. And again, we need to make sure we're defining what is life and death and what is someone who just needs to get to the hospital. So, and then the ALS unit, and the ALS unit, on average, in a good health system, is there in less than 10 minutes.
So what would you consider a good response time?
In average, nationally, the good response time is getting your BLS unit or QRS.
I'm talking about Southbridge specifically. So
we
in Cecil Township, I'm at home and, this actually happened. I'm at home and one of my older sons starts choking. What happened? How quick do I expect somebody to be there?
Our goal is to get to you in less than 10 minutes based on national average. Again, we work as a team with the fire departments and the police. So it's kind of a team approach.
I'll be honest, my stepsons were at a friend's house and their friend began choking on pizza. Luckily, thank God, his mom was quick enough and was able, he passed out, but she was still able to do the Heimlich enough to get the pizza out. Southbridge did, and I'm not trying to call you out, was not the first responder. It was Cecil 3 who were the first there.
Right, and that's why we use that. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm asking what would be, because if his mom hadn't been able to get it out, he would have been dead in 10 minutes. So that's, as much as I have no specific issues, my job is to make sure that the people of Cecil Township can have an EMS there as quickly as possible.
And that is our goal too.
Right.
But what we have to realize is each ambulance that is staffed 24/7 costs roughly $250,000 a year to run. The manpower, the insurance, the vehicle is nearly $250,000 to run.
When somebody's
So
dying,
I was
it
going to
doesn't
say,
matter.
with all due respect, I hear what you're saying, but if Jen hadn't saved Josh, telling her that that truck costs $250,000 isn't gonna make her feel any better.
Understood, and that's why I say we do this as a team approach. That's why